Okay, we should be recording. Okay, cool. So this was an idea that came out of one of the Navy HR commands called N1, and it was a very niche use case. They've got a lot of, they're doing a couple different things. They're doing, unfortunately, they're doing a Salesforce initiative for the recruiting aspects of the Navy, but that works just fine with us because the recruiting is just a sliver of sort of the Navy and sailor life of the sailor. And so we sort of always position this to be like, hey, look, if Salesforce wants to do the recruiting aspect, and once that sailor gets on board and gets their orders, we take it over from there. And they spend a whole lot more time on ServiceNow than they do in Salesforce. But this was sort of a bit of a spin-off because they were saying, well, how can we take the sailors, not just sort of resume, but their certifications and where they've been living or where they live and all the things that we want to capture and apply them to specific billets. And there's a specific name for that. It's called Detailer's Marketplace. So the Navy detailer is the person that is essentially a manager. Think of it as a hiring manager, and their job is to create the billets and assign them. And then you've got the flip side of that, which is the sailors need that ability to log in somewhere and say, I think of it a little bit like a mini Jobvite, where it's like, hey, I'm gonna tell you what my resume is. I'm gonna load up all the things that you need or want to see, and then I can apply to certain positions. And then the Navy detailer will look at that and say, okay, I've got 10 candidates for a specific job that I opened up or a billet, and I want to take the best one suited for that position. And maybe that's based on, again, their rank. It could be based on where they're located, years of duty, all that kind of stuff. And so we got down the road of the solution innovation team helping us sort of visualize what this would look like. I will preface by saying there is an app on our store called, I think it's Venable or Venable, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's an Australian company that does something very similar that we sort of stole some thoughts, some ideas out of, but we couldn't use them because it's an Australian-based company and the Navy wasn't keen on that. So anyways, we the other portion of this, the other sort of way that we were able to design this is Deloitte had done something for, oh gosh, I'm going to forget, another one of our federals on the civ side, actually, customers where they wanted something similar. It was like they wanted a mini Jobvite where they could assign resources to specific tasks. And so
was it TSA?
What's up?
Was it TSA? Because I know Deloitte's done some HR stuff there.
That could be. Could be. Yeah.
Huh,
I've got it in the. So did everyone see? There's a presentation, and I'm happy to send it to you guys. I can find it maybe quickly. That sort of talks about how we got to where we were. I feel like Angela, you found it and sent it to me. Has anyone seen this?
That's possible. I can't remember, but maybe send it to us just in case as a follow-up. It'd be great.
Yeah, I will do that. If I can find it really quick, I'll just share it. But if I can't, I'll just send it. Yeah, it's going to take some digging. But okay, well, essentially, yeah, the concepts behind some of that are in that brief. And so let me just go through what we built. Again, we did this with the solution innovation team. I really like it. I think we will pursue this in 2021 once the Navy's made some decisions, but it sounds like, and is this for the Coast Guard or is this for a different customer entirely?
FEMA, but really it's
FEMA.
For DHS in general, to be honest.
Okay.
So there's two thoughts to this. One is that we ultimately, Deb and I have been talking about the fact that she's been discussing with the platform team that we really need a solution for this, and we want to partner with DHS headquarters because they're in the process of deploying our HRSD. But in the meantime, we have a brief coming up for FEMA where they want to discuss our ability to do position management. So it's kind of there's two sides to looking at this right now.
Got it. Okay. I did end up finding that brief, and it was USAID. So I'll just share this with you real quick.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
So we sort of stole some of the thoughts behind this within our design. But anyways, I will send that to you guys. All right, but just from a pure demo perspective, I'll just jump into it. So we've got two different personas. We've got Thomas Washington, and he is actually the Navy detailer, right? So he's the person that's the air quotes, the hiring manager. So he's got two things that he would typically need to do. He's going to create the billets. So he has sort of a direct line into understanding what billets need to be created and when, and sort of the roles and the skill sets that we're looking for placement. And then he's got the ability to assign those billets to specific candidates. And then you've got, and I'll just flip real quick and we'll come back. And then you've got Richard Cornish. So this is the actual Navy user. Let's call it the deployed sailor who maybe is out of rotation. He's got 9 months in which he needs to find something to do. He's not on a ship, and this is where he would go to peruse through the billets and assign himself to things that he is interested in. But we'll go back to Thomas because this is where it starts. And so the first thing would just be to, simple service catalog. He's going to go in and create the billets. And this is essentially, we wanted it to be very wizard-like in the sense that you just step through it sequentially. So what's the billet title? In this case, this could be a supervisor for financial management. And it's just asking Thomas to go through, right? And we sort of, you'll notice that we leapfrogged some of this, but he's going to have to understand where this billet is going to take place. Where is this person doing the work? Because that will very much come into play when we're actually looking for candidates. And if we don't have the budget to move someone from the West Coast to the East Coast, well, that's a problem for that candidate. Contact information, what is the description? Any kind of additional information, and you just step through it. And then you get to this point where, okay, this is my listing of billets. So Thomas has done all this information. Here's this supervisor position. He may have a couple other things. And it's very simple in that regard. There's a whole lot of other things, none of this is actually, this is all sort of the HR case sort of work and service catalog. We wanted to show them that this would very much tie into if they would just procure HR, we would just build this for them. I think we offered it was basically like, if you will just buy HR from us, we'll build this application for free and just give it to you. The innovation team is willing to do that. But in any case, so that was the open billets. So what would happen at that point, logically, is you would have someone like Richard log in, and he's going to, same service catalog, just role-based access control is going to have a different view of how things are going to work. But he's going to look at the open billets. And this is where it's basically asking you to create like an online resume. What is your current rank? What's your classification? How many years have you served? Location, family, certification, all that stuff. So the idea was build it once, use it repeatedly. It's saved to your user record, and that way, they can always go in and update it over time. Maybe in a year from now, you want to update your year served, or maybe you got a promotion and you're different rank, or maybe you've moved. But in any case, all this is stored at the user record, so that when they want to apply, it's a situation where they don't have to do this once. But they are going to go through and say, okay, choose your rank. So this is lieutenant commander. Same situation, add your location. Okay, so you've done all that, you've built on your resume. Now he's going to sort of look at this and say, what do I want to apply for? You do things like, adding favorites. Maybe you want to come back and look at something later. You're not sure if you want to apply to this just yet, but you've got some information here as well. But I would just go ahead and, now that you've stored all that information, it's really a simple button click, or maybe two or three. But essentially, because we've already stored all that, again, the air quotes, the online resume for that sailor, all we really need to do is just allow them to sort of apply, and that stuff is captured to that billet. So they go through and apply to several things if they wanted to. We didn't really have any kind of, from a business rules discussion, we haven't gotten that far with the Navy to determine, are there situations where you want, you don't want certain positions to show up. Maybe you have to be a certain rank. Maybe you have to be in certain locations. We didn't get down that road, but logically, I think that probably makes a lot of sense. So you'll only see the positions that would apply to you, and then you go ahead and do your work. So then after that person, the sailor has built their online resume, they've applied for the billets they want to apply to. Then you're back at Thomas Washington, who's the Navy detailer, and now it's his job to now take a look at those maybe you keep that open. It's just like, just like our Jobvite. Maybe that rec stays open for 90 days. Maybe it stays open indefinitely. Again, we really didn't have that conversation with the Navy just yet. But he's going to go into all the open billets. And this is where it gets sort of fun. So Thomas, at this point, he, unbeknownst to him, and maybe we have notifications telling him that, hey, you have several candidates apply for certain billets. But he's just going to go in and say, this is the one that he created, the supervisor for financial management, and he needs to go in and assign this. Well, this is where, we didn't get too far even with the innovation team building this out. But one of the things that that V-Enable app that I mentioned at the beginning of the call, which is a store app, they actually provided some metrics, and almost to the sense of, you can pick your best candidate, but we can actually tell you based on the people that have applied and the metrics that we've collected on that person with regards to, okay, you wanted someone with at least 5 years of experience, and you wanted these certifications, and you wanted the person to live in Baltimore or whatever. We could do some machine sort of number crunching, machine learning, and to be able to give them some analytics and say, this is the right person for the job. But in this case, we didn't scale it to that point yet. We were just sort of trying to provide the Navy with some ideas about, okay, so here's your billet. These are all the people that have applied. You can go through and see, the years of experience and location, and all the different certifications and things like that. And when I want to select one, I say, okay, I've selected Barbara to be in this position. And in that case, once you do the assignment, you get a nice little notification. Now, this is sort of the end of the demo, and you can imagine where the discussion goes from here. It's like, okay, well, are we now talking about integrating with like USA Staffing, I think it's called, or what sort of HR systems are making sure that person is ready for the job? And so this is where we're like, okay, well, HR, key role at ServiceNow for HR, service delivery, we can manage a lot of that work. We can also go into Integration Hub and talk about how we can leverage, how we can trigger notifications or trigger or extend workflows out of ServiceNow if need be. But that was really basically what we wanted to show them. Like I said, I mean, they were excited by it. They really liked it. We had to mothball it for a little while while we figure other things out. But if this is something that you guys could use and are interested in, I mean, I would highly recommend. The solution innovation team keeps all this stuff handy. If they actually got to a point where they're, you get the thumbs up to build this out, they would be happy to do it. So.
Okay, great. Very helpful. So I think we need to check with Dave, a combination of, I mean, this is definitely, I think we should at least be showing, whether it's FEMA or headquarters or whomever, we should probably be showing this capability. I know it's not fully built out. That's my understanding, right, Adam? Right now it's still click-throughs, basically.
Definitely. Yeah, and there has been, we brought it up to the HR business unit in the sense of, hey, like if this is something that we're going to see that is pretty sought after across a lot of different markets, they may want to bake this into the platform. And so I think there are discussions about that. But yeah, to my knowledge at this point, there's no solution. You'd have to do this with App Engine.
Yeah, so Dave, I don't know where you and Deb are on that whole front. Dave mentioned you guys were talking about it.
We just have to connect because we were going to chat before this, but she had a situation arise that she had to take care of. So.
Okay, all right. So maybe as a follow-up to this, and this has been recorded.
It has been, yep. And I'll send this back out to everybody along with the brief that we put together.
Hey, Adam, who do you guys work with?
I'm sorry?
Who do you guys work with in innovation?
This particular guy was Greg Grabowski. But if you went to AJ Siegel, he will, he'll know. I don't know if Greg is still working this or how that works out. This could be a situation where it just goes into a repository and then someone else picks it up. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, and this is still only click-through, right? This is just paper.
Correct.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time to walk us through this.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else I can do to help, you let me know. And I would love to see someone take this across the goal line. Just
Right.
because
Well, we
will
needed it.
take it.
Well,
Yeah,
we need it at DHS. I mean, everywhere, every time we turn around, they're asking for this
Okay.
kind of capability, position management in general. So,
exactly. Yeah, the intelligence community was looking at something similar as well. So there's plenty of demand for it. So
yep,
Yeah.
but,
agreed.
Really get with what's going on with Intel. Jacques Guidry and I were talking about this as being something that maybe we could put together more a fully baked application for. So that
Yeah. Yep. That's
And
great.
that'd be
Adam,
great.
Adam, did you say the Australian name of the company, Venable? VENABLE?
I believe so. Let's check it out.
Because I was checking on the store. Maybe it's my spelling.
Maybe it's just
Oh,
enable,
enable.
and they put a V in front of it as part of their. Let's see.
Okay. Because I put Venable. I didn't see. Okay.
Yeah, I'll find it and I'll send it to you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No worries.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, guys. No
All
worries.
right. Thank
Good
you.
luck. All right.
Take it easy out there.
Thanks.
Say,
Okay.
Yeah.
thanks.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Bye.